This was interesting at 7:47. Pretty insightful. When asked about the Cold Air Cafe on Buckeye Road, quote, talking about the management and the people who work there, they were trying to get into nothing. They got cameras, but they're not recording as far as I know. Yeah, they're not trying to get in any drama, this and that. Remember what Kendra Griffey told you. Behavior of the assistant manager? Ramon Bueno was hoping that his buddies had overridden the system. Why would he even be concerned about surveillance video there? And you know the time was off because she talked to you about that, and when it says 9:20 in the morning, it's not dead dark. And she explained to you that you have all of that in evidence. He said at 9:28, another story he couldn't keep straight, that interview, he was partying. However, he would only say it was at a trailer and at 2 different houses in the west area between McDowell and Camelback between 43rd and 67th. At 10:28, whether you guys believe me or not, whether I have an alibi or not, I actually do, but still, you know what I mean. And then at 10:40, that's when he comes up with this absolutely absurd camping story. I went camping, okay, I went to the casino, okay, it's past Miami at the reservation there. And then he says, he doesn't pay attention when he drives. Well, what was he driving? For a guy who runs around on a bike. I said he doesn't have a car. Then at 12:05, it starts to dawn on him. He says, quote, it won't add up. He knew he was stumbling. And then he changes it and says he was partying and drinking in the area of the 2 houses. Instead, now it was at Van Buren between 31st and 35th Avenue. 22:34, he changes the location where he was partying, and now it's not at 31st and 35th and Van Buren, it was further west and north. He admitted to shaving off his goatee 2.5 days ago. And as they're talking about that, at 28:39, he says, he kind of smirks. It all matters, huh? Why the need to change the appearance? At 28:55, he says, my dumb ass wasn't there. And then Detective Butcher says, what's going to happen, Ramon, when your DNA comes back inside that vehicle? And he responds, and again, these are his words, not mine. I'm fucked. He says, whether I was in that car or not, whether you're going to find DNA, I don't think you will. But then he says, if you're dumb enough to get caught, you're dumb enough to take the blame. At 33:52, he says he didn't know the people that were in the house with him. We have a whole bunch of pictures and evidence of that house. I would suggest to you, based upon that evidence, it is ridiculous for you to believe that lie. And of course, he and his partner in crime, literally, Danny Vargas, are wearing the exact same shirt. At 48:33, now it's really dawning on him. He's desperate, he says. But as far as guilty, innocent, or anything like that, my dumb ass is caught. At 51:29, this is particularly chilling. 51:29, when asked if he used any other names besides his nickname, he then, quote, says, why? What did you hear? And he smiles a big smile. He knows what this case is about. He completely changes his demeanor when asked about the nickname to that. He denies knowing Louis Perez, his sister's boyfriend, who had the number coded in his wallet and was another member of the Mexican Mafia. At 58:04, he says to her, because again, he's pretty smart, he says, I know a lot. And she said, likewise, Detective Butcher. And he responds, I know you do, but I don't mean to be this way, but it's my life. And if it's already over, it's my life. His life isn't over because he's lying or helping Danny or someone else. His life is over because he got caught. For a guy who is being accused, wrongfully, in his words, of shooting at a police officer and other police officers. He's sleeping, asking for candy, cookies, sweets. He's a hardened mafia member. This for him, nothing. This was what he's about. This was it. And then he goes back to spinning his stories at 1 hour and 4 minutes. He now admits he was back from camping. He did not go to the casino internet cafe. He doubled down on that a couple of times. At 1:05, he said he had not been in the car, but he'd been in a car like that, but they were different on the inside. When asked, how do you know what the interior of the car looks like? He said he'd just never been in a car that had been shot up before. And at 1:07:01, he acknowledged that he's contradicting himself. Now, Detective Lopez starts to talk to the defendant. When asked, have you had a gun in the last month? No. Have you touched a gun? Watch his demeanor. I may have. You know he's thinking about DNA. He doesn't know if they found the gun. He doesn't know if someone's provided it. At 1:16:48, that's when Detective Butcher, the evidence is overwhelming in this case. And that's what the defendant was, and that's where he was shooting from. Throughout this trial, at one point, there was a consistent drumbeat of, and that didn't put a gun in my client's hand. And that didn't put a gun in my client's hand. You have Exhibit 274 in evidence, the train surveillance, minutes after the shooting. You will have the opportunity to review it on your own time frame. Look at it. Look closely at it. This is how you will navigate the video player provided by the Union Pacific Railroad. There is a player, top left, and from there you can hit pause and go forward frame by frame, +1, -1, and the speed of it. And it's got the timestamp from the Union Pacific on there. Exhibit 274. Now, here are the critical times for you. At 3:08:09, you're going to see the car. Lori told you that was me driving. So you know that's Lori's car. At 3:08:09, you're going to see the shadows of the men that Larry Martinez described to you. The defendant and Danny cross over in front. Now you know that he's ditched. They were laying in the grass first, and remember this, the demeanor of how he described them, laughing and joking. Larry told you that the guy wearing the white shirt was bleeding from the lower left back. He had no idea when he was interviewed that someone had been shot, because remember, that was not broadcast over the news. Detective Butcher talked to you about that. Maintain the integrity of the investigation by not giving out identifying information so witnesses' memories won't be compromised. And at 3:09:23, you're going to see the silhouette of a gun in the defendant's hand. Let's go through that. What's important is the shadow and who is where. Right there. You're going to see that was the defendant, because Danny's wearing the white wife beater on the other side. There's a defendant on the left with the bald head, wearing the gray shirt. Danny on the right in the white wife beater. And they don't switch sides. The gun is still in his hand. The defendant did absolutely everything he could to get away with the attempted murder of Trooper Casey and the shooting of all 3 officers. As Casey started to die and choked to death on the pavement, Trooper Cruz worked to save Casey's life. Trooper Cruz, professionally and literally under fire, took control of the situation, saving his life and getting information out to first responders for the first 7 minutes. Trooper Alfano was completely shaken up after having been shot at while trying to help Trooper Casey. The defendant chose the witnesses to this crime, and he tried to get rid of the witnesses that he couldn't control. Lori was not part of the defendant's world, and admittedly, he generally didn't associate with black people. And he said that your verdict will determine if he's right.
Thank you.